Hello everybody, my name is Travis Baptiste. I'd like to welcome you to my very first vlog. Now, the whole reason I started vlogging is not because I have too much time on my hands, but because I have a lot on my mind and not nearly enough people to share it with. Now, the first topic of discussion is going to be our sociopathic society. And you're probably wondering, okay, who the hell cares?
Yeah.
Or what is that exactly? Now, the first question, who cares? That's not really something I can particularly answer, nor do I care to. But if I had to say why it is I care about this topic, it's mainly because I'm interested in the human mind, how it works, when and why it wouldn't work. Also, in a sociopathic society, I find myself leaning more towards that of an empath versus that of a sociopath. The second question is actually something that I'm going to be going into further detail later on within this video. For sake of time, I'm going to be discussing very little about what it means to be an empath. Just know it's the opposite of a sociopath. Of course, to get you to understand why I think we live within a sociopathic society, I have to go into at least a little bit of detail with regards to what it means to be a sociopath. It's knowledge time.
No, Daddy.
You gonna learn today? In front of you are some common characteristics of a sociopath. As you can see, they can be pretty driven, intelligent, charismatic, exciting, charming. I know exactly what you're thinking.
How do I become a sociopath?
Now, these are indeed some very suave individuals. I'm talking Michael Jackson smooth criminal types.
Eddie, are you okay? Eddie, are you okay? Are you okay, Eddie? Eddie, are you okay? Eddie, are you okay? Are you okay?
Sorry about that. Those are pretty endearing qualities, huh? Pretty damn endearing. Of course, the problem is not the endearing characteristics of a sociopath. It's when you come across the not so endearing qualities. Now, just to kind of hit you up with a little bit of knowledge, there's a special brain cell called the mirror neuron inside of all of us. Mirror neurons are especially designed to ensure that whatever the animal and or human being is observing from an emotional standpoint is responded to appropriately. For example, if you come across somebody who's being brutally murdered right in front of you, God forbid, you can imagine the person's fear, their sadness, and you could respond appropriately to it. Likewise, if you come across people or a person who is exceptionally jovial, happy, smiling, you can almost experience their joy by simply witnessing and observing them in that particular state of being. Now, it's said that in a sociopath, these mirror neurons aren't necessarily activated when coming across or observing emotional anything with regards to another human being or animal. Now, those of us with normal physiology or normal brain activity can only imagine what it's like to have to learn an emotional response. Now, typically during an emotional response, there's hormone release. Of course, there's brain cell activity. There are tons of different things that take place within the body from a biochemical standpoint during an emotional response. Of course, those who are sociopathic don't necessarily experience the same systematic process. Now, any emotional response you see from that of a sociopath is actually something that they've observed throughout their lives and taught themselves how to play back as if in a cinema or a movie. Now, most sociopaths display antisocial personality disorders, which a lot of people confuse antisocial personality disorders, or APD, with asocial. Of course, asocial is someone who is distant, someone who disassociates themselves with society altogether, whereas someone who is antisocial or has APD tends to be the life of the party, simply because they have a natural instinct to break rules.
That's badass.
These people lack moral boundaries. They lack ethical standards. They have no conscience to speak of. I'd like you to come with me. Imagine this wild scenario, okay? You're walking down the street. You see a chainsaw.
Well, looky here.
You pick this chainsaw. And the next person you see walking down the street, you just slice him right in there. Just and you drop it. Why? Because you could. Why not? And you feel absolutely nothing about the person that you just sliced in half in broad daylight. Other characteristics of a sociopath include manipulation, chronic impulsiveness, and pathological lying. Now that you know a little bit about what a sociopath is, I'm going to tell you why I think we live in a sociopathic society. But before I do that, I want you to recall the positive characteristics of a sociopath for a moment. Charismatic, charming, intelligent, inciting. Now I want you to consider procreation. So you're probably wondering how those two things correlate. But if you consider what it takes in order for a man to court a woman, or a woman to court a woman, or a man to court a man, there, one, needs to be some attraction, and two, it generally helps when you can be charismatic, charming, very delightful to be around, impulsive, exciting.
Well, I guess.
Right? Wouldn't it be a lot easier for you to get your thing going? Now I want you to consider this. There's some talk of some behavior disorders being genetic. One of those behavior disorders actually being APD, or antisocial personality disorder. Can you imagine how many of us are walking around with that gene, since it's so easy for someone who has that particular disorder to procreate? Consider this also. The American population, or a majority of the American population, love the badass, the gangster, the hitman, the person who just don't give a good god googly about nothing. We love that mofo.
Want to play rough? Okay. Say hello to my little friend.
And there you have it, people. Our sociopathic society in a nutshell. Maybe even our sociopathic world, filled with pirates, whores, gangsters, hitmen, people who just don't care about the man/woman sitting right next to them. We all crazy in this mother. Maybe it's a disorder. Either way, let me know what you think. Again, this is just a man talking. I'm just interested to see what the rest of the world has to think about what it is I think about, or at least one of the many things I think about. Look forward to hearing from you.